a dream. Nothing more or less than a breathtaking view. I can't stand this place anymore. It's too small and towny. Please bring me ahead to Tokyo Boy in my next life! Now that you mention it, I do feel like I've been having weird dreams lately. I could dream about someone else's life?
What is this? What?
Could this mean?
In our dreams, that girl and I were switching places?
Aloha! This is Trinidad, your island man, coming to you all the way from beautiful Hawaii, here on the island of Oahu, bringing you the best movie reviews on the entire island. Yes, this is Trinidad, the island man, your island man, and today I'm over here at Ala Moana Park giving you my movie review for Your Name. Now remember our rating scale. Shaka thumbs up, I recommend it, it's good to see. Shaka thumbs down, it's bad to see, or it's junk. And well, I'm proud to say that Shaka thumbs up all the way for the animated movie Your Name. Now, like I said, this is an animated movie from Japan. It was the #1 movie in Japan for all of 2016. It came out in 2016, and it went on to become the world's highest grossing animation movie ever. Animated movie ever from Japan. Currently at about 360 million worldwide. And today, April 7th, here on Friday, it's finally hit the United States in limited release, and I was able to see it. Now, I'm very happy to let you know that this is a strong Shaka thumbs up, and you know, whatever you do, if you're a fan of anime, if you're a fan of teen romance movies, you should definitely go check out this movie. It's a very well done, well-written story about two teenagers who switch bodies, and you know, in doing so they see the world through the perspective of each other. You know, their own problems, both at home and in the towns that they live in. One lives in Tokyo, the teenage boy, and the teenage girl lives in a small village in Japan called Itomori. And so the best way to describe this movie is kind of a mashup between Freaky Friday and Somewhere in Time. Now, for those not familiar with the 80s movie Somewhere in Time, that I highly recommend, and you should definitely go see it. You know, check the video store, you know, Netflix, iTunes for Somewhere in Time. You know, since it is from the 80s, it probably wouldn't cost you that much to go ahead and download it for a rental or even own it. It's a fine movie that deals with a romance with two people from separate time periods. Basically, it stars Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour. Christopher Reeve is from the present, there in the 80s, who travels back in time to fall in love with Jane Seymour. And this movie reminded me of that a lot. Now, the Freaky Friday aspect of it, the body switching, you kind of get from the trailers, but, you know, the time traveling bit was a bit of a spoiler, and there is an additional spoiler in the fact that because it's time travel, you find out when the two attempt to meet each other, and they go to try to find each other and see each other, you know, she goes to Tokyo, he goes to the small village, but they're unable to do so because they're actually also in different time periods. Now, the time periods, and this is a spoiler, spans 3 years apart. But, you know, until they attempt to try to meet, they don't realize that. And once they do, they realize that they're off. And now that gives a great perspective and twist to the movie that I didn't see coming, and I greatly enjoyed that. But as an additional twist, it takes that time travel concept that if you could go back and change certain events, something that you know, maybe something tragic, you know, that would happen, you know, would you go back and do it, and what would you do to try to stop it? What extremes, what lengths would you go to? Now, I can also see that this movie hit high in the Japanese market because, you know, they had the tsunami tragedy that took place within the last 10 years, you know, that wiped out an entire town. And so if something like that were to happen, and if maybe two you know, young kids could go back in time and attempt to change that, I'm sure, you know, that played an aspect into everybody's longings and desires as well, you know, towards this movie. And, you know, so that's probably why it was #1 in Japan, but it's also very well written. It's a very adult and tastefully well done romantic comedy or teenage romance that we hadn't seen for a long time, especially not here in the United States. And for that aspect alone, I highly recommend it. Maybe the space between us last year was, you know, the most of the extent that we had maybe the chance to get, and it didn't do very well at the box office. So if you love anime, if you love teenage romance movies, I highly recommend strong shock a thumbs up to Your Name. Go ahead and see it. It's playing over at the Dole Theater. You know, it might be at other theaters as well, but, you know, being at the Dole, now it is available also for the $6 on Tuesdays. So if you don't want to pay full price, which I strongly recommend, you know, it's that good of a movie, you know, do yourselves a favor and see it for the $6. All right. Thank you so much. This is Trinidad, your Island Man, live from Hawaii, here at Ala Moana Beach Park on the island of Oahu, giving you movie review for Your Name. Strong shock a thumbs up. All right. Thanks a lot. Aloha.